everyone. Looks like we're back today with another day of Broken Arrow. This is going to be a great day. I actually don't think I've ever been on this map before, so this will be interesting. I am playing my favorite faction, which is Russia. We're going to hopefully have a pretty nice time here. First thing we're going to do is pay our air tax, because that is a feature of this game. And I've got some buck M3s here. I don't know what these do. I'm interested in trying them out. I'd drop a couple of those by this little farm here. So this will hopefully be quite interesting. I'm noticing a couple graphical glitches as well. Not like that. I don't really know how much that is supposed to be. Those boxes aren't working well though. Okay, so there's an F-18 there. I don't like that. Apparently I'm gonna have to deploy my S-300 early. But it is going to take out that F-18. There we go. That was not actually me though. Let it be known that was one of my teammates. I'm gonna it fast move forward. I'm actually gonna, I think, bring in an Orion drone here to kill that aerial foe. Yeah, it's gonna move up there. So I'm gonna test out these Tab 50s. These Tab 50s are very nice drones. Bombs drop from drones. The Orion is also a nice drone. There we go. There's our US there. Drop bombs in a nice pattern there. There we go. There's a kill. Very nice. Very nice, Orion. I am liking the graphics better, though. I turned them up, and it looks like I am having some texture issues with these squares, these area captures, but not too many, and I don't really mind. I will have to get that looked at. I'm actually going to bring in a supply truck over here for my S-300. Generally, I'll position my supplies slightly away from the launcher so that they are not taken out, and the launcher can shoot and scoot back and forth. It looks like my teammate has put down some supplies, which I'm going to go grab. Thank you. Thank you very much. Buck M3 then is moving in here. Very nice. Now I do have transport aircraft, and they are very capable of deploying a lot of forces with good weapons. Mostly anti-tank weapons, so tanks are not going to be a problem. Not in the slightest. I mean, I can airdrop artillery vehicles. One artillery vehicle. Well, that is still a statement. Just gonna go ahead and bring it on. Why not? I'll bring in some DSH. Standard line infantry. 4 Iglas. And a couple of Samrat 2s as well. I think I'm going to position myself on this right flank here a little bit. Okay, a long airdrop. It's gonna be a long pattern to all those units. That IL-76 is gonna make a long turn coming all the way back around. Meantime, I'm gonna drop my supplies, resupply my S-300, and have the Knosvini truck back away. Only a transport truck that is not armed, so cannot do combat, while the S-300 moves into the offensive position there, resupplies, and sets itself up. Now the Buck M3 is a little bit forward, and wow, nice airdrop there. Beautiful, large airdrop, and that is what I like to see. Although the plane is being shot at. Ooh, ouch, that is 200 points down the drain. Not my favorite sight there. However, hopefully now we can bring the Samat 2s into position and bring the crew back to safety, which will gain us an additional 60 points. Hopefully they will not be vengeful and drone strike my crews like I did to theirs. That is a hope I have. We're going to move S-300 out of the supply zone so that it is not shot at if it is hit. Well, I actually do not feel that is a threat in this game so far. I will do so if it happens, but for now I'm actually going to leave this S-300 in the zone. It's just going to reverse just a little bit there. And over here, I'm going to be moving these units outside of the area where they're now being bombarded, because don't forget, this was highly visible to everyone, allies and enemies. So these units are now going to be running forward. They're comprised of 5-man squads with decent all-around weapons, and so they are going to be able to move forward at decent speed there. So my choice, I guess, here is to hold this area or to move forward and strike at a different location. And I think it's going to be my idea to hold this area, resupply, because we can see that they are damaged from the artillery bombardment, and then have them move away. And that does seem like a rather cool group. You can also see that there is a hostile tank, which the Samats 2 are moving to engage. That is very nice. And then they do have those nice anti-tank launchers, as was shown previously on yesterday's stream. Very nice right there. Humvees are currently being terrorized. But unfortunately, it would appear that the enemy has moved outside of the range of allied fire supportability. I'm actually going to withdraw now, lay down some supporting fire from that M7A4 B-Fist. I don't know what a B-Fist is, and I don't know what it stands for, but it is bad, so I'm going to have it taken out. Here's a Sarmat 2 has been destroyed, so we're actually going to move back into the trees, away from that soon-to-be anti-vehicle launcher. And I'm going to want to take just a little cover there. And the 2S41 drop appears to be doing quite nice. I'm going to back it up into the forest, into cover. Very nice. And it is currently at a very low durability. And I can see that there is in fact an enemy helicopter approaching this position. So I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be moving allied infantry into defensive positions, which will allow them to better hold off from enemy attacks. And defensive positions can reduce incoming damage from hostile fire, and oftentimes give better sightlines, I think, as well. And all of these units which are at low AP can now be moved into said supply zone, which we brought in here. Then we have another Buck M3 coming to replace the one that was lost. I'm also actually going to be bringing 2 Polizias into this zone. Into that zone, which should allow them to hopefully stay alive. And we can see that there is currently a ballistic missile site up there.
Roger that.
That's not so fun.
Логистика готова. Как ракетные сани на рельсах. Десант готов. Меняем ППД. Пехотинцы ждут ваших приказов. Минометный расчет здесь. Десант готов. Пехота здесь. Минометный расчет на связи.
And we can see that there is in fact an enemy helicopter there. Something that I unfortunately do not have enough reconnaissance to hit. Nor do I really have a vehicle that can take it out. I'm actually going to bring a Strezin in here. And this is basically just a large caliber anti-air gun on wheels, which happens to be a transport that can also help transport allied troops. So that helps.
Грузовой автомобиль готов. Affirmative.
And I actually do believe I can transport the troops back now in that BDV truck.
Тяжелый транспорт здесь.
So that'll be nice. And I'm going to engage with a short Polizia bombardment here against that building. It's going to be too difficult, hopefully.
Да. Никто не выживет. ПВО, закладываю.
And the Polizias are taking shots at the complex. Thing is absolutely hammered. Very nice. And we'll put down another bombardment on that other complex there.
Координаты.
And then we're just going to scoot on away.
Тук-тук. Проверим этот дом. Понял, идем на зачистку. Ударю громко. Заряд. Говори, куда накрыть. Ударю громко.
So it would look like we've flushed out the enemy from their hiding hole.
Никто не выживет. Транспорт.
And meet an admittedly difficult mission, and then knowing that there is in fact an anti-tank unit or two in that complex building near the forest, we are going to stay far away from that site there. And these docks can be brought back to repair. The SP-100s can also be moved forward. as it would appear that they are going to need a resupply. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come forward and I'm going to precision strike this entire area, and then we're going to let the drone do its work. This area is heavily in our hand, but we do need to move forward towards hostile zones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my amazing S-57 to throw a couple of cruise missiles to actually airstrike this tank here. And this tank is equipped with not enough top armor. Tanks are vulnerable from the top, and the SU-57 is lucky enough to be equipped with the KH-59 Mark II cruise missiles, which are top attack cluster missiles, and they can be fired from a long distance away, allowing me to call in an immense amount of firepower on a singular position. Very nice. And we can see that it would look like there is an anti-air position there, but I assume my allies will obtain that and have it taken out. Or the LAV-80 itself there. And then while I was not paying attention over there, I have come under attack by hostile enemy vehicles. That is a problem. Something that an Mi-28N helicopter can fix. They already have one there, K-52, but I'm going to reply on anyway because helicopters are cool. This resident now would appear to be out of its league, as it appears that the enemy has decided to deploy a large number of tanks instead of helicopters or whatever they were deploying previously. This is a good bit unfortunate, so I'm actually going to move the Buck M3. I'm going to move it slightly forward so that I can better cover an armored convoy, which I'm going to deploy now. It is going to consist of 2 T-80 UM2s. Excellent tanks with good firepower, and they're some of the cheapest tanks in the game that can be equipped with an active protection system. FB artillery weapons have taken no damage from the incoming fire, but I am once again going to put down heavy fire on this complex here. I'm just going to long duration bombardment it, and anything unlucky enough to be inside that zone is hopefully going to get shredded. Now we can see that they do in fact have a Prowler, which is a radar guided aircraft that is going to come in here and shoot at anything that is attacking it, and by turning off its radar, we can now make sure that it is now not going to be targeted by the Prowler. The sad thing about that now is that it cannot defend itself from ballistic missiles. I don't think we're currently under fire by ballistic missiles, as those would go higher, but this definitely could have been, most likely at least, reduced its effectiveness if we had better missile defenses and had not been suppressed by the Prowler. I'm going to airdrop in supplies now so that we can repair our current allied vehicles while waiting for the tank convoy to be on position. And it would look like the anti-air could also use some more ammo. Everything goes off the road, so what we do now have to do with the current armored units around them. Once again, I am going to put down some fire on that same convoy, on that same complex, which I assume has the rocket anti-air, although I was not paying attention. Actually, I assume this is where it is, but my teammate did put an attention on that position. Then we can also see that there are enemy tanks over here on the left side. Very nice.
Армейская авиация слушает.
With the spreads that taking fire, I'm going to be moving the current 2 tanks into position. And it looks like they made smoke, so what I'm going to do is I am going to shell that position with the artillery, a light shelling.
Ударю громко.
The T-80 M2s are going to move forward, and it is an M1A273. You have to remember, it is a powerful weapon. But also, there's an anti-air launch in that unit, so I'm going to be very, very careful. It might have an AK launch. In fact, there is infantry there. So I haven't had the chance to move into that position. I can see that they do have allied vehicles,
Минометный
their
расчет.
supply units, moving away. So I don't want to let them escape. I feel like those could be important. What I'm going to do is I am going to destroy my looking those units, but I also have to be aware that I may or may not be shot here from any angle. And the T-80 does not have the side armor required. It does, however, have an active defense system, which works to an extent. There it is. So they were taken out. And supplies are not a great big deal, but they hinder an enemy's advance. And the fact that they've lost their supplies now means that we can push into this forward zone up here. Now capturing this forward zone will mean that my team now has an advantage over the enemy team.
Воздушная оборона.
You can see currently we have 2 out of 5 areas, and soon we will have 3 out of 5.
Понял, принял, едем. Светстон здесь. Бронетранспортер на связи.
While my current units are being pretty much entirely surrounded, and there are many AT units there, so what I'm going to do is I am going to back out of that zone, and I'm going to put down another fire. The tank was destroyed. That is highly unfortunate. This SU-57, however, here,
Направляемся в зону.
is very nice tank. Very nice plane. And this one in particular is equipped with cruise missiles, so I'm going to just crush the entire complex. The Gage-59 Mark II are long range and allow the plane to strike from a long distance away, so I do not have to risk the entire plane. Then it appears to have countermeasured away an enemy anti-air missile, then I'll be able to take a shot at an F-18C Hornet before flying off. That missile was countermeasured as well, and we do not currently have any aircraft to support that engagement, which is very sad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to begin saving up points for said anti-air launches. Highly unfortunate. That probably could have been a kill if I had had some form of anti-air launcher.
Даем ходу.
I do still have an Igla on the Mi-28N, so if I move that into position and we'll see if we can get in range, that would have to be a very dumb aircraft to be vulnerable to an Igla. It was not, yeah. I can, however, bring in a Buck M3 anti-air launcher. And I'm actually going to bring in 2 of those, so I have just a little bit of reliability in case one of them is destroyed.
Принял. Выдвигаемся.
I do still have my 2 Polizia SD artillery weapons here,
Задний ход.
and I'm going to move those into position as well as the spreads it.
Двигаюсь к точке. Готов сотрясать землю.
And then this truck is going to deploy, put its supply units there,
Коды на
and get
связи.
out.
Какие ваши указания?
A reconnaissance ground, or post, a small recon drone is going to be deployed there, and we can also now see that the enemy is in fact deploying MV-22 Osprey, which is a transport helicopter with a GAL-17 autocannon, or Gatling cannon, yes. And so what this tells me is that they're currently commanding for an infantry assault or to flank around. So what I'm going to want is I'm going to want some anti-tank, in this case grenade launchers, to come in and help fix this. I'm also going to bring in a supply helicopter and a Sarmat 2 whenever I have the Sarmat 2 is going to act as the anti-vehicle launcher. In the meantime, we are still on the offense against that area, have not moved much. Which is not good, because when the time runs out, we will lose if we have less areas. And this S300 is completely out, and so is actually going to move over toward this zone on the battlefield.
Уже еду.
We can also notice this forepost here, which is going to provide reconnaissance. And we can see that there's an LAV-AD on the ground over there. And that is an anti-air unit,
Вертушки здесь.
and it is currently a problem. Because generally we do not want our allied units being shot down by an anti-air unit like that.
Быстро на позицию.
You can also see that there are two AMTVs over there, and what those are going to be doing is those are a form of armored transport, I do believe. They're covered in machine guns and armor, so they're not vulnerable to infantry weapons, but the AGS-40 is a grenade launcher, and that can hope to damage the AMTVs. So can the Sarmat too.
В атаку. Машина разведки готова. Пути. Пехота ждет приказа. ПВО на приеме, мы под огнем. Противовоздушная оборона докладывает, ведем бой.
It's not a good play about himself, but it's not really about them.
ПВО на
This
связи.
one can deploy, and I will once again have an anti-aircraft unit on this side of the map, which is good. And the S-200 is making its way over here.
На приеме.
You can see that we have another F-35 on this side of the map, currently over there.
Боевая машина разведки ждет дальнейших
You
приказов.
can also see that they do in fact have an armored incursion into this area.
Петер здесь и здесь жарко.
This is bad for a number of reasons, but I do feel that a T-14 Armada will be able to solve this problem.
Уже в пути.
In the meantime, though, the area is just going to have to hold out
Говори,
until
куда
the
надо.
Allied tank can get here. And it looks like we're once again going to require another anti-air unit.
ПВО, слушай.
Not a good place to find ourselves. Definitely not preferable.
Координаты. Выполняю.
This is really somewhere I wanted to find myself. This is highly unfortunate.
Делаю. Никто не выживет.
I definitely don't really want to lose the sector, because this would put us critically behind our... And then if our entire allies are pushing forward, then this would negate the progress they've made. As well as the fact that the enemy team would then have 4 out of 5 areas, and put us 1 area away from losing, which is a position that we do not want to be in. There's some Moto Streltsky and some boomerangs to provide some nice support here.
Приказ понял.
The
Едем.
AGS-40 has done a good job and is putting down fire against enemy units, but it is also overtasked with the current situation and cannot be expected to put down every single enemy unit that comes this way. And then our Klutzy SB was just destroyed, which is highly unfortunate. Currently, a Kamaz DDV is about all we can really hope for realistically on this side of the map.
Мы
While the S300 comes in and obtains supplies, which will hopefully allow it to fire up 2 more shots.
Армату
The
вызывали.
T-14 Armada is going to help us defend this area. And it really did help us.
Штурман, выходим
Well,
на дорогу.
Allied infantry helped us push away enemy vehicles, light vehicles, not tanks. P-14 Armada is going to give us that fire support that we just so desperately need, and the armor so we can take a hit and dish that out. So we're going to position ourselves right there in those bushes, facing toward them.
Понял, принял.
Next, we'll be putting down fire with a heavy machine gun and artillery. I'm going to bring in yet another drone to hopefully provide some form of reconnaissance here. But so far, as of right now, things are looking pretty desperate here. We're actually going to be bringing in some additional supplies as well.
Куда вас доставить? Выбрасывай. Поездка окончена. Где мы нужны? Пехота здесь. ПВО ждет
Yes,
цель.
the Underdid. Highly appreciated. Now, as you can see, the Corvus was destroyed, and so now we know that it is, in fact, still unsafe for Allied aircraft to be around here, and the enemy's position is still surprisingly close to us. I would not personally move my anti-aircraft weapons so close to the
Десант
front.
готов. Вертикальная на связи.
And then I'm beginning to think about beginning to move forward again. But moving forward is still a risky maneuver here,
Выдвигаемся.
simply because of how many vehicles we have seen and how I don't really have too many anti-tank
Пехотинцы
weapons.
ждут ваших приказов. Потопали. Десант готов. Зачистить здание. Принят. Занимаем позицию. Десант готов. Вас понял. Двигаемся. Хороший дом для обороны. Десант готов. Проверить здание.
That's not good. Okay, so another S-300 is down. Buck M3, however, will hopefully be here pretty soon.
Отделение поддержки на приеме. Десант готов.
One thing I dislike though is that I just cannot be sure when it will be here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring my K-16s forward, and they will act as reconnaissance scouts moving forward.
Двигаюсь к точке.
Well, I do feel that it is decently safe to assume that the enemy does have a large number of vehicles on the main road, and so moving back into the offensive position, we're going to move the T-14 Armada forward. And we are going to be moving forward here
Пехота
on the offensive for the first time in a little while. Meaning that there is an LAV-80 there, which I am going to put up against the K-16 Boomerang, as I feel that that is a similar to equal
Куда
matchup.
вас довести? Транспорт, слушаю.
And you can see here that we are in fact up in a fight against enemies in the forest, as I initially suspected.
Вступаем в бой.
That was not an equal matchup.
Беттер здесь.
I feel that at least the Strezit will be able to take on the LAV-80.
Специалисты по противовоздушной обороне готовы. Есть кто дома? Зенитки слушаю. Куда вас довести?
And moving the tanks forward here again, we can now see actually that there is in fact an occupied building, which may or may not have enemy anti-infantry units in it. So we're going to move MI-28 in. And what it's going to allow me to do is it is going to be able to provide just some of that necessary firepower against infantry that is going to allow me to easily commence the attack on the building by completely saturating it with rockets.
Транспорт на поле боя!
The LAV-80 continues to defy me.
Вертушки на приеме.
Very nice. Now I have displayed the LAV-80 with artillery fire. Now they know that it is safer to move in
Экипаж.
anti-vehicle helicopters, I guess, and air units as well for that matter. You can see that our teammates do in fact look like they need an air support, and the SC-57, which with KH-59 cruise missiles is a perfect opportunity to do so.
Заходим на полученную цель.
And we're now going to let the Mi-28N move forward against these hostile vehicles here.
Траектория полета обновлена.
The SC-57 is now going back out as the allied SC-57 has struck the enemy tanks and done a small amount of damage to each tank. What'll really depend on if it's successful is if it makes it back to base, and it did, which is a very good thing. The Buck M3 is now here and can defend the T-14 Armada from those devastating ballistic missile strikes like the one you saw previously. We're going to bring in a couple of Sturm SMs here. These are going to provide fire support for the T-14, but not before the T-14 is able to definitively protect the zone from enemy fire. Just like how we saw that armored vehicle in the bushes there, we are going to be a little bit hesitant and move forward. T-14 is going to allow us to kill that M7A3 though, and that is a good thing. That will help to keep the zone definitively safe. Having fire support come into this zone is a very bad thing. You can see that the LAV-80 was just killed by a Sarmat too. Very nice. And here's the vehicle with a heavy machine gun. Now what we're going to be doing is closing in on this zone with this tank here. So we can see that there is in fact a tank there. And we don't want to get too close now. It does have a machine gun. It's going to be putting out some pretty intense fire. But it is safe to support this attack at range with rockets just like those ridiculous.
Выдвигаемся на новую позицию. ВДВ слушает. Так точно, заходим. Вертикальная на связи.
So now what we have to consider is pushing forward in an attack position. The attack position is difficult to take up, but once we gain some momentum, it will be very nice and carry us through to that area. And I think we are currently ready for that. So I am going to be calling in another T-14 Armada. And a T-82 Draws tank attack now, because these two tanks are very powerful. Very powerful tanks indeed. And as you can see, we currently have a four-post here, and our helicopter is currently under fire by an LAV-80, going to send our helicopter down, and then the T-14 Armada is going to move forward and take that fight for us. We can see that the M1A2 FMP is not equipped to take on the T-14 Armada. And that was a kill, but at what cost? You're now going to attempt to move forward to take out the LAV-80. But remember that this is rather daring, because this tank is already at low HP, and if it encounters another armored vehicle, then it will be forced to move back. And so we strongly do not want to encounter another armored vehicle here. In the meantime, the four-post drone is currently providing aerial reconnaissance. We can see some enemy MLRS systems, like the M270A1 attackers, for example. And you can see that the T-14 Armada is successfully able to kill the LAV-ADS, and it will now be bringing it in to this zone where it can begin resupply and repair. We'll also have a cargo helicopter to bring in more supplies. We can bring in another 4,000 units of supplies. In the meantime, they are going to be repairing pretty quickly here. Unfortunately, it would seem that the forepost was destroyed, but our teammate did mark the zone, did mark the spot. It would appear that our enemy is currently experiencing collapse. And with only 3 minutes left in the game, if we can simply manage to hold a lot of these areas, which we are currently struggling over here, we will be able to completely win the game. So what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to provide allied support to any units that can hold that area. If any units can hold that area, then we can totally win the game. But for just 3 more minutes, we do need to maintain the majority of areas, and in the meantime, we are now going to take over this area as well. So even if that other area is lost, then we will still hold this area, unless our units hit. And that would be dead. And unfortunately, it looks like we did lose the tank duel there, which is a very bad thing. And however, we have another division of tanks, which is another hope for capturing a new area. Then we're going to be resupplying these units in this zone. Our anti-aircraft vehicle can also use a resupply. And we are, of course, going to make our final push into the sector as we are capturing. And again, this T-14 Armada is very powerful. We are against really powerful tanks. They have very large strength numbers. And so we are going to be winning this mission. Very nice. I feel like we might have just touched it in the last 2 minutes. And this is a very nice gameplay, a long game. Very nice showcase. All I'm going to have to do now is hold this zone of the game and stride the sun down. So you now permanently capped in what looks to be 4 zones here. Very nice, very nice. And it looks like a lot of our vehicles do require repair at this current time. hostile shooting venoms over there. Very nice. And that was a close game. We clutched it in the last few minutes. And all the way to the maximum allowed time. Very nice. Very nice.